What's up, guys? Welcome back to a brand new story. Today we have a crazy story of a Karen who thinks that the laws don't apply to her, so she starts breaking laws in front of the police officers. And let me just say that this is one of the most wild Karen stories I have ever received, and I know you'll enjoy it, so sit back, relax, leave a like on the video to claim your free nothing, and let's jump right into it. So we're going to call the subscriber who submitted this story Aiden. So anyways, Aiden was about 17, 18 at the time, and over the summer, he got a summer job working at this grocery store. So he didn't really have consistent hours, so sometimes he'd be working in the morning, sometimes in the afternoon, and sometimes really late at night. Like, this was one of those grocery stores that was open practically 24 hours a day. I don't know if it was 24 hours, but he worked a very late shift when this story started. He was at a very late shift. So this was like, I don't know, 11, 12 at night. So you'd have a few people come in every like 20 minutes or so, but it really wasn't rush hour, and he was also the only person in the store, which makes this Karen story even more interesting because this Karen decides to come in and start some problems when it's only Aiden. Remember, this kid's like 17, and she's about to give him the hardest time possible. So it all started as what seemed like a normal night. But as all these stories go, they do not turn out to be normal nights. So anyways, Aiden was working at the cash register. He was also in charge of basically anything else going down at the store because he was the only one there. So if someone needed, like, if something needed to be put back or anything like that, he was in charge as he was the only one there. But he was mainly manning the cash register at this point. So all of a sudden, at like 12:15, no one else in the store, no one else working there, no one else getting stuff. He hears the door open, so he looks over. And he sees this woman come in, this older woman. She looks very angry. She has a look. She just has a look on her face as soon as she walks in. She just has this kind of look that you know that she's going to be trouble. Like, off the bat, you know that she's just going to be difficult. She's going to be a situation from, they know that she's going to be a situation from like the moment she walks in the door. That's honestly what it's looking like right now. So Aiden kind of looks at her as she very angrily walks up to his desk, and he's like, all right, what's good? And she comes up and says, I would like to return this item. And she puts an item on his desk. And I don't know exactly what this item was, but I do have a description of it. It was beaten up. It was broken. It was heavily used. Aiden didn't even know if they sold it here, and she didn't have a receipt. Yeah, I'm going to say that again so I can let that sink in. The Karen was trying to return something that was clearly used so often that it's completely lost its function, whatever it is. It doesn't even look like something that Aiden sold at the store, and she also had no proof that she bought it from the store, aka receipt. So Aiden very calmly tells her, hey ma'am, we do have a return policy saying that it has to be in pretty good condition, and you also have to have proof of purchase. And this thing is definitely not in good condition. It doesn't look like you have any proof of purchase. And I don't even know if you're in the right store right now because I don't think we sell that here. And the Karen gives him this look. This kind of look of like, how dare you question my authority? I'm your elder. You should do exactly what I say no matter what type kind of look, right? So yeah, anyways, the Karen is just like responds to him, I got this from the store, and I have not used it. I only used it once, and it didn't work. I just want my money back. And Aiden's like, could you tell me, a description of this item? Because I'm telling you guys, it was so worn out and so used that Aiden couldn't even figure out what this was supposed to be. Like, he didn't even know what to type into the computer to look up to try and figure out what it was, because it was so mangled and messed up and beaten up that he couldn't even tell you what it was supposed to be. Like he couldn't even get a good educated guess on it. That's how messed up it was. That's low-key one of the reasons why Aiden wasn't able to tell me what it was, because he genuinely couldn't even figure it out himself. This is when the Karen starts to get really mad. She's like, your business is scamming a local citizen by not giving the money, not giving a refund where the refund was clearly stated that you could get one. And Aiden says, yeah, we do have a refund policy, but it's also pretty clearly stated that you need a receipt to get the refund. And she's like, I just don't have it with me. And Aiden's like, oh, well, I'm sorry, but if you have it, even if you have it at home, we're going to need you to, like, go back and get it. Like, I know that's a bit of a trek, but it's his policy. Like, I don't run the store. I just work here. I can't be doing stuff like that. And so, because Aiden was maybe going to be lenient if she had a receipt, and then he could at least type in the item and see if they actually had it. Because, like, Aiden was low-key trying to call her bluff because he was pretty confident that they did not sell whatever this was supposed to be. But she goes on to say, she just, like, has a mental breakdown. It's like, well, how about you just give me my money and I'll get a receipt later, which is, like, the most ridiculous thing ever. I get that she doesn't want to make the drive, but what if that, like, here's the thing. Let's say that you didn't want to make the drive. Wouldn't it just make sense for you to be like, you don't need the receipt here, just, like, give me a refund, instead of saying, give me the money now, I'll drive back and get the receipt and bring it back to you. Like, that literally makes no sense, bro. So yeah, Aiden kind of puts his foot down a little bit and explains to her, look, without the receipt, I can't even begin the process of trying to give you a refund. Like, not even talking about the state of this item right here, as he kind of motions towards, like, the completely destroyed item, whatever it was. Not even to mention the state of this item. Just, like, very generally, I don't think I can even start to give you a refund for this. So the Karen, something changes in her eyes. Something evil starts to brew behind those cold, dark eyes or whatever. And she's like, so, you've chosen to disrespect me. And he's like, so you've chosen to tarnish your elders. And he's kind of like, bro, what are you saying right now? I genuinely don't know what's going on. So, you have chosen. And he's like, all right, bro. Because he's like, all right, she's going on about something. I don't know what's going on right now, but it's not like I can do anything about it. And she's like, so I'm going to enact citizens' justice. Bro, not even citizens' arrest, which is the goofiest thing that you only hear Karen say. Citizens' justice. I'm pretty sure that's just called breaking the law. Oh man, I'm just going to enact my own justice. When has that ever been said and then something good follows it, bro? Like, actually give me a time and a place and I'll believe you, but until I hear it, I don't believe you, bro. So anyways, she turns and she starts walking down one of the aisles. And Aiden is so confused at this point, because he genuinely just has no idea what's going on. And sure enough, the Karen goes up to one of the aisles and says, are you going to give me a refund? Yes or no? And I mean, obviously, he's not going to give her a refund, because why would he give her a refund at this point? She's giving him no reasons to give him a refund. Actually, she's given him so many reasons not to give him, to give her a refund at this point. And he's like, no, I still need to see your receipt to start the process. And then the Karen takes a big, okay, so I think it was let's just say it's a big rack of vegetable oil. It was a bunch of something, right? She takes a hand and plows through it all. It all falls on the ground, breaks open. Vegetable oil is spilling all over the floor. It's going everywhere. And she turns back to Aiden and just stares him down. And Aiden is pretty shocked at the moment, because he had no idea that the Karen was going to start doing actual damage, right? And she's like, do I get a refund now, little guy? And Aiden is just like, whoa, this is out of my range. This is out of my expertise at this point. This was not in the how to be a cashier training. They did not prepare me for crazy Karens in my training, bro. That's all I'm going to say, is I was not prepared for something like this. So sure enough, he's like, ma'am, I'm going to ask you to leave. Because in his training, I think he was told to, if anyone's, doing damage or breaking the rules or whatever, you can ask them to leave. And she's like, I'm not leaving before I get my refund. Give me my refund in full, and I'll consider leaving. So not even I'll leave, but I'll consider leaving if you give me exactly what I want. She was probably even going to do a little bit more damage after that too, bro, if we're being honest. Yeah, but sure enough, he's like, no, I'm going to have to ask you to leave. So what the Karen does is she goes on and just, destroys something else. I think she finds, something glass or something easy to break. She picks it up, boom, smashes it on the ground, takes another one, lifts it above her head and says, are you going to give me a refund now? And Aiden's like, no. Boom, smashes it on the ground again, picks up another one. Are you going to give me a refund now? Aiden just looks at her blankly. Boom! Smashes on the ground. So you can see the pattern here. The Karen's just trying to destroy the entire place until she gets what she wants, right? So Aiden picks up the phone, dials 911, as, you know, you should at this point. Someone's breaking all your stuff and you're 16, 17, whatever, and no one else is there. Can't call for backup, can't call your manager, can't do any of that. So yeah, calls 911 and kind of explains the situation while big smashing and crashing noises are in the background. Okay, the dispatcher says that they'll have people there in 15 minutes, so just make sure the situation doesn't escalate. Which is I don't know, it's a pretty big ask to tell some 15-year-old, hey, I know you're in some crazy situation right now, but make sure that it doesn't escalate. Oh yeah, he'll just go back to his de-escalating a Karen training. You can't train for that, man. You can't de-escalate a Karen once they go full psycho Karen mode, bro. You can't de-escalate them, bro. Anyways, though, yeah, so he's kind of just behind the cash register watching as this Karen goes around smashing stuff saying, are you going to give me a refund now, little guy? Boom. You're going to give me a refund now? Boom. But all of a sudden, or not all of a sudden, I guess 20 minutes later, the doors open up and 2 police officers walk in to see the Karen breaking stuff and to see so much stuff on the ground, spilled, broken, all of the above, right? I mean, you can't really break, splattered, destroyed, whatever you want to call it. Depends on the item. You can't shatter like an apple, but you can smush it, right? So whatever it is, it's all been kind of destroyed. It's all been kind of wrecked. So the police officers come in, they're like, what's going on here? The Karen sees them, turns around, sees a supply closet or like a broom closet. Okay, when I say sprint, I mean sprint super liberally. I don't mean she's like, I don't know, Usain Bolt doing like a 1 second mile. I'm saying she like power waddles. Yeah, she power waddles to the, to the broom closet, gets in there and locks it behind her, which, why did the broom closet lock from the inside? Who knows? Aiden's like, oh, you gotta be kidding me, man. You gotta be kidding me. So police officers, one of them walks over to look over at all the damage and make sure the Karen doesn't escape. The other one goes over to Aiden, sorry, I think Aaron is the name of the last guy in the last Karen story, actually, and asks him, so can you give me a recap of what happened? So Aiden goes on to say, yeah, so I was just here, she came back with an item, this woman came in with an item, the woman in the closet right now. It was pretty beaten up, and she didn't have a receipt, and she was demanding a refund, and I basically told her that, well, one, her item was so like beat up and destroyed, I couldn't even tell if it came from here or not. But also, second, if she doesn't have a receipt, I can't even start the process to giving her a refund. So without the receipt, I couldn't even give her one. So she got really mad at this and started breaking stuff, demanding a refund. And by the time you guys came, she's like broken about a third of the store's items. Like, this is pretty crazy. I didn't want to intervene, though, because I don't know what this woman's capable of or, how deranged she really is. Police officer said, okay, son, you did the right thing calling us and trying to keep the situation as calm as possible. We'll take it from here. So they both go up, and actually, like, Aiden stays in the cash register, but this is a fairly small convenience store, so he can hear everything that goes on. So they go up to the broom closet, and they're like, ma'am, what's the meaning of all this? And she's like, that little rapscallion won't give me a refund on my items that I purchased from the store. He is stealing from the elders right now. And they're like, ma'am, first of all, he just works here. He can't make the rules. Second of all, it's pretty clearly stated, and there was a legit sign talking about refunds in the store. So it's not like the Karen had no idea at all. It was actually fairly clear, but anyways, they're like, ma'am, it's pretty clear from, like, what we're seeing, like, and they point to the sign, you do need, like, a receipt to get a refund, like, that's just kind of the deal here. And she's like, well, he should have known, like, I don't know, man. The Karen was just going on about something about how she deserved a refund and how it's so bad that she didn't get one or something. But yeah, I don't even know. And eventually, they were like, ma'am, if you don't come here, if you don't come out right now, we're going to go in there and get you for, like, and I don't know, they say something along the lines of that. And that's when the Karen starts maniacally / evilly laughing. It is one of the weirdest, most off-putting, like, responses that Aiden could have ever heard. Like, it is the weirdest thing ever. The Karen just starts laughing hysterically, like an evil villain in a superhero movie, when she's in the closet. And what she's about to say next is one of the craziest things Aiden has ever heard anyone ever say. Real quick, if you made it this far into the video, comment Karen down below. That'll be the secret word of the day. I like to see all the people who commented. I'll try and heart as many of those comments as I possibly can. Thank you guys. Anyways, also, these videos are on Spotify, or I try and put as many of them as I possibly can. Links in the description. Also, follow my new TikTok, or it's the same TikTok, I guess. I'll be posting my shorts on there as well if you want to help out. And finally, the best way to support the channel is just to binge watch the videos. So at some point, sit down and just watch a bunch of my old story videos, or maybe right after you're done watching this one to the end, you can just keep on watching more videos. I'll have a Storytime playlist in the pinned comment. That makes it real easy for you guys to watch. And please, 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 if you are binge watching the videos, make sure to comment down below telling me such so I can say thank you personally. Anyways, let's get back to the crazy Karen story. So anyways, a little recap. The Karen has ran into the broom supply closet, right? Because she sees the police and she knows she's about to be arrested. Aiden explains the whole situation to the police and explains it like, all right, this is what's going on. This is what's going down. And they're like, okay. They probably got on their walkie-talkie. We're like, we got a code 58, crazy Karen in a convenience store. I repeat, we got a code 58. I don't know if that's a real code or something, but let's just say for the sake of it, code 58 equals crazy Karen in convenience store. Typical situation they have to deal with on the daily at this point. But anyways, they go up to the Karen and they basically tell her, look, if you don't come out here and like, we're going to go into the supply closet. We're going to open that door if you don't open it yourself. And that's when the Karen starts laughing maniacally, which is one of the most off-putting responses you could have possibly heard. One of the most off-putting responses in general, right? So sure enough, the Karen is just laughing maniacally. And she says, you guys can't arrest me. You can't arrest me. And the police officers are just looking at her. And she says, you wouldn't dare arrest a woman. That is not very gentlemanly of you. So the Karen opens up the door and starts laughing. And the two police officers are just looking at each other. And they look back at the Karen, and then they look at each other, and then they look back at the Karen, and the Karen the Karen repeats herself and says, you guys wouldn't dare arrest a woman, so I'm gonna walk free, unless you want to be bad gentlemen. Bro was really raised in the 1700s or something, bro. I don't know what crossed her mind to think that that's actually what's gonna happen, but that is what's gonna happen, bro. Like, I was like, all right, word. So she walks out there, and the police officers are like, ma'am, you caused all this damage to the store. We are going to have to at least take you in for questioning. She's like, what? No, you wouldn't dare not be good gentlemen. And they just kind of look at each other. And Aiden is just so floored by this response. He's just so... He's trying to figure out what's going on. Aiden's like, is this really her response? Is this really her get out of jail free card moment? Is saying that they wouldn't dare arrest her because she's a woman and they would not disrespect their manlyhood, or I don't freaking know, bro. But yeah, they basically say, I don't know if that's how that's going to work. So they turn her around, they take out the handcuffs, and she says, you wouldn't dare do that. And they both look at each other, and then they put on the handcuffs, and she's like, no, arrest him. And they both look at each other, the two police officers are looking at each other like, bro, what did she just say? And she's like, arrest that guy behind the cash register, pointing to Aiden, or like motioning to Aiden because she's got her hands behind her back. It's a little hard to point to someone when you're in handcuffs with your hands behind your back. And they're just like, why? And she's like, he's robbing me of my refund. They're like, what? He's robbing me of my refund. And they're like, ma'am, you first of all, you know what, ma'am? No. Because they're not going to explain it to her for the 100th time of how, like, no, if you want a refund, you got to get your own receipt. And no, if he's not doing it, he just works for it. And they're done explaining it to the Karen. And as the Karen is being walked out, she looks at Aiden and looks at him dead in the eyes and says to him, this isn't over. Mark my words. And that was like one of the most chilling responses Aiden could have ever received. And let me just say, she did not lie. This was not over. And she was definitely not done. unfortunately for Aiden, she was very much not done, because she was about to return in the worst way possible. Fast forward 3 months. Aiden is still working here. It's like, it's kind of towards the tail end of the summer. So Aiden's like, this is like his last week or last 2 weeks or something. But he's almost done with what he's doing, right? And he's completely forgotten about the Karen incident. His manager came in the next day after the whole Karen incident, kind of gave him a thank you for handling the situation well. The shop actually closed down for a couple days to reassess or whatever. The Karen was like fined X number of dollars to repay for whatever, and she actually did, which is a little surprising, especially for what she's about to do. It's a little surprising she went through with it. She definitely had a change of heart, that's all I'm trying to say. But yeah, after about a week, they got the place up and running again, and Aiden was made like employee of the month or whatever out of the 3 employees they had. So wow, such an honor, man. But anyways, fast forward like 2 months later, 3 months later, whatever I said. This is like this is either the last week or second to last week that Aiden's working the shift. And, he just has completely forgotten about the whole Karen situation. And, he doesn't think much of it. He's kind of at the point where he's like, okay, I'm kind of wrapping things up. The Karen situation's in the back of his head at this point. And that's when he just happens to look out the window. And he just happens to look at a car that's pulling in. And he just happens to notice someone walking out of the car that looked oddly familiar. And he just happened to notice that the person who looked so oddly familiar was carrying a freaking baseball bat, bro. And that's when he realized that the reason why this person looked so familiar was that this was the Karen. Yeah, the Karen that got arrested and tried to destroy the entire store 3 months ago has returned in broad daylight with a freaking baseball bat, dude. So yeah, immediately Aiden calls 911. Because at this point, the Karen has been told never to return, and if she does, there's going to be trouble. And she's also returning with a baseball bat. So at this point, it just makes a lot of sense for Aiden to get ahead of the situation. So while he's on the phone, he explains, like, this woman has caused damage before. She's appeared in the parking lot with a baseball bat very suspiciously. I just would feel better if someone came, because I can almost guarantee something's about to go down. This is kind of a local police department. So I think the person even literally remembers what happened before. So, they're like, okay, yeah, we got you with this, don't worry about it. And, sure enough, the police are coming, but the police, it's going to take like 15, 20 minutes. So Aiden's a little nervous right now, but there's another cashier there, he's not the only one at the store at the moment. So he yells at them, says, hey, we got trouble. Person comes up, he's like, oh my God, who's that? And Aiden looks at him and says, that Karen I was telling you about that one night? And the guy that Aiden's working with looks at him in a look of disbelief, like, no way that's the same person. And Aiden has to break the bad news that, yes, that is the same person, and that person is coming at them with a baseball bat. Yeah, not looking good for both of them right now. So anyways, right, they're both like, okay, what is she going to do? And the Karen makes eye contact with Aiden. Aiden makes eye contact with the Karen. And the Karen starts bursting out into laughter as she approaches the place with a baseball bat. Yeah, not looking really good right now. So she starts walking towards them with a baseball bat and goes up, like, opens up the door window and says, opens up the door. And Aiden is staring at her. And the other person Aiden is working with has frozen as well and is just staring at her as well. And they're just looking at her. And she's just looking at them. And she has this big grin on her face. And let me just say that they do not have the same grin on their faces. To say the least, they do not have the same look of excitement and joy that the Karen is with them. They are not equally as happy that this is the case. Yeah, so they're all just making eye contact with the crazy deranged Karen who's standing in the door with a baseball bat right now. And she's just looking at them. And she says, you didn't think I'd be back. I told you. You should have given me that refund all that time ago. And now I'm taking my revenge. And immediately she turns to one of the windows. Boom! Hits it with the baseball bat. The window shatters. At this point, Aiden's real scared, understandably, because look, when the Karen was destroying stuff in the store, he was really afraid that it was going to get out of control. But at that point, she was really just breaking stuff with her fists and throwing it on the ground. Like, he really thought, okay, if the Karen comes swinging for me or something like that, it really wouldn't be that big of an issue because, like, I don't know, like, I'm not too scared. But now the Karen's coming in with an actual baseball bat. Like, that's kind of just a different story right there, bro. That's low-key just a different story. Like, if she swung at him and made contact, dude, that could do a lot of damage. I don't care if she's barely able to swing it. Like, I don't care if she doesn't have the strongest swing. I don't care if she's not, like, in the MLB. I don't care if she doesn't bench press 325, bro. It doesn't matter. She still has a baseball bat. That's a weapon right there. So Aiden kind of like backs up. He makes sure to keep his distance with the Karen, and him and his like coworker are trying to keep their distance, right? And they're just waiting on the police to come. So the Karen is yelling at them, should have given me my discount, should have given me my discount, while slamming the bat into windows, basically clean the cash register right off, because she took a clean shot of the cash register with her baseball bat. Boom, thing explodes, $10 bills fly everywhere. And then she starts going into the aisle, boom, boom, starts whacking stuff. And that's when the police officers get there. So the police officers get there, they're alerted about the Karen, and I think one of them was actually there last time. So they know about the Karen. And they see her swinging around a full-fledged freaking baseball bat. So they're definitely on edge at this point. And they're just like, freeze! And the Karen turns around, looking all deranged and crazy, with an actual baseball bat, right? She has a baseball bat out, that's pretty bad. So they're looking at her, and she looks at them, and she says, make me, which was probably one of the worst responses that you could have given to two police officers when you're holding a baseball bat, because one of them does make her, pulls out the taser, which, I mean, look, you got someone swinging around a baseball bat. I'm not going in to sit down to have a polite conversation either. I get where he's coming from. Taser, zaps her, immediately goes to the ground. I mean, this Karen isn't like some kind of like Iron Man, like, and he was hit with 2 bullets, and he stood there unfazed, like cue whatever music. No. You know, I mean, if you're hit with a taser, you're going down, bro. So yeah, Karen collapses, baseball bat goes on the ground. One of the police officers rushes over to like separate her from the baseball bat, puts her in handcuffs, checks her to make sure she doesn't have like any other weapons or something like that. She does not. The other police officer goes over to, once making sure that the Karen is like contained or whatever, goes over to Aiden and his coworkers, ask, hey, are you good? Did she hit you with a bat? Are there any damages to you or whatever? You guys good? They basically say, yeah, we're safe. Like, we always kept our distance or whatever. And, yeah, one of the police officers who was there last time is like, is this really the same woman that was here like 3 months ago? And, you know, at this point, Aiden recognized this guy from being there 3 months ago. He's like, yeah, this is the same woman. I haven't seen, and, you know, he says, have you seen her over the last, like, 2 or 3 months or however long ago it was? And he says, no, like, I have legitimately not seen her since. She also, the money went through that, like, she was charged for all the damages she did. She paid it through, so we kind of thought that we'd never see her again, but I guess not. So yeah, the police like take her away. Obviously, this was a lot more serious. I don't know exactly what the charges were, as I wasn't told exactly. Because like, remember, this convenience store wasn't some big chain. It was like a mom and pop type location. So they were actually able, through insurance or whatever, somehow they got the money back. They had to close down again for a second because now there's broken glass and windows and destroyed stuff. And yeah, the Karen was now very, very much, she was in bigger trouble. I don't know exactly what. I would assume that she served some jail time for that. I doubt she got off on like the second time, because like that time she was swinging on them with a bat. Like, that's some serious stuff you're doing right there. But yeah, moral of the story is, I don't know, don't be a Karen, bro. Yeah, subscribe if you're new, watch another video.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it, do it.